Preparing to live stream the meeting. Oh yeah, so I see your chat over here, but do you see me? Is anybody watching the YouTube link?
I looked at it, but it doesn't show for me. It says wait on apex.world.
Yeah, and I also see below 7 waiting.
8 waiting.
Yeah. Let me try this one over here. There's no date. There should be a stream coming over here and should tell me stream setup help. So I should have pushed the last button.
Oh, there's another link. So the other link is working when you click on YouTube in Zoom, and there's live on YouTube.
Can you post that in the comment?
Okay.
So we are the wrong. We have the wrong link then, or what? So this is the link I have, but I don't know which one it is. Okay, let me open an anonymous browser. Okay, this is the one. I answer on Twitter. Okay, let me open an anonymous browser. Okay, this is the one. Reply to the people. Maybe you can retweet that. Dimitri, can you also tweet it? And I forgot the Apex hashtag. But it should be all in anyway. Let me look it up. Dimitri, can you also tweet it? And I forgot the hashtag. But it should be all in. Go back. I need to, can somebody tweet the link with the Apex hashtag, Dimitri? So
I can do it also.
and then I can retweet it. I need to, can somebody tweet the link with the Apex hashtag, Dimitri?
Do it also.
And then I can retweet it. Did you?
Okay, I did it.
Hmm?
I think I did it now.
Okay, let
Me too.
go. Oh, great. And then,
There are 8 people waiting. Subjective.
so I have it in the chat now in the original link with the original link. And okay, I would say that's all we can do. Sorry for the confusion. I don't know why this is not working. The planned one. Anyway, okay, let's start. So thanks guys for joining, whoever made it over here. Today, we're gonna do another Apex World for Dummies show. So the whole point for the Dummies shows are that I'm asking stupid questions like a citizen developer would do, very simple people who are very new to the technology or to Apex, or you know, so a lot of questions I'm gonna ask, they probably I already know them, but so I'm asking them for the regular people, because we often have the problem when there are office hours and stuff. So there are developers talking to developers, right? And you losing them after 3 sentences, and then you don't understand anything anymore, which is sad. But because often the solutions are really great, but well, you can't blame anybody, right? You can't blame a developer for being a developer, and vice versa. And business people have different point of view. So, and I'm want to be the link between the two of you, basically. So we plan to make this with Martin, the 2-part show, but this didn't go off, and there was no request for, yeah, let's make a general, you know, let's talk about Apex community wise. So we dropped this part, and it was very, very long the last time. So it was over 2 hours. And so we are back with just talking about technology. It's just me asking stupid questions around Apex solutions. And last time we had all about workflow, the internal workflow engine that came with Apex, and the flows for Apex with Niels and Ralph and Martin. And this time we talk about Apex Project I, which is a monitoring tool of your Apex application. We already made a video years ago when it came out with, did this with Dimitri. I remember, that's all I remember. And, but now there is a new version out, and you worked on it. And today we should look at it again. So the stage is yours. Whoever wants to introduce something, show something, I will interrupt you anyway.
Okay, maybe I'll start, and then I'll give to Alesh. So a few years ago, it all started when I had to go into companies. I got called in, and they said like, hey, we don't know what's going on with our Apex applications. So the first thing I was doing, I was looking at all the views and like seeing which metadata is there for the Apex applications, who's using which app, which errors do they have. And like it was always the same thing. And Apex has some things built in, like there's some monitoring screens that you can use. You can log into the internal. but it was always a hassle, and I had to do many things at the same time. So I decided, okay, like, why not build an app that helps me doing this? So this was the first thing that I wanted to achieve
which we
a few
all
years
did
ago.
in the last 20 years, right? Whenever we had a project, long-running project, over 10 years, so we all built our small monitoring and checking applications, didn't we?
Exactly. And wouldn't it be great if there was like one standardized thing which people like, and like this was the start. So you basically, the only thing I had to do, or a colleague had to do, was install Ape, and suddenly you have a whole plethora of information. Like, let me quickly show you that maybe. So do you see my screen, Jürgen?
Yeah. So we already dive in. So you didn't want to introduce Aleš, don't you? You don't want
Aleš is talking about like quality assurance and all that. Okay, so I just wanted to give a quick overview here.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. Okay, so this is so first of all, okay, this is already an application. So what are you gonna do to, install that? What is this? Is this an Apex application? I know this is an Apex application, right? And you see it in the URL, but tell us how you're gonna install that. Where do you download it and all these things? See, now Aleš left us because he said that you
because I didn't introduce him properly.
Yeah. Ah, come on, you're so rude.
I will do a proper introduction of Aleš.
Thanks. Now I'm not the worst anymore.
Okay. So while we wait for Aleš, like when you go to apex.project.com, you can download, like you can sign up, and then you can download the application. The only thing you have to do is import the application, and when you run it, you basically get like a dashboard like this.
So this is actually an application you install in your workspace.
Exactly. And depending, like if you install it in one workspace, you see the applications of that workspace. If you have the Apex administrator role, which is a special role which gives you access to your entire Apex instance, you will see all the workspaces and all the applications in your Apex instance.
Yeah, I learned that years ago that, well, normally if you access the Apex repository with all the views, you just see the applications in your workspace. And if you want to see all the applications of your instance, of all your workspaces, then you can assign the special Apex role. The database administrator can assign the special Apex role to you. How was it called again? What was it? Apex
administrator role. Yeah.
Apex administration role. Yeah. Let him in again. Yeah. So, and then you suddenly not just see your applications of your workspace, you see all the applications of all your workspaces.
Exactly. And this is what happened here. So you can, for example, create an Ape user, an Ape workspace with this special role. You install Ape here, and then you see basically, I see here all the workspaces. I see how many, like this is number of errors there are, how many people are in this workspace, like at the moment.
How many people are we talking about, developer or users?
This is end users. So this gives me, so when I need to go in, I install this, and I suddenly see, okay, there are like many workspaces in this Apex instance, and there are many people in there. So now I can talk to the CEO or CTO or like the project manager, and I can tell them, okay, I see that you have, like, if I go in here, like I see that you have a workspace, an application called this.
Dimitri, don't start to click around. Go back. We first want to tackle the first page. Don't click on anything. It's fine. Let's stay on this level.
So this is the highest level that you can be. This is on your internal workspace level if you want.
Fine, fine, I understand that. I understand that. I understand the different metrics. So, and I get it. Now you can install it in an environment and you see, hey, we have so many workspaces and there are actually users running an application right now, or what is the data? So 38 or what is 90?
So 30 people are using this applications in this workspace. 213 people or end users are accessing applications.
You say using it in a day or forever in a whole life? So there are there is a
there's a filter here.
Time frame.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay, there is a time frame. So you can set the time frame to check how many distinct users have ever used this applications. We're still on workspace level. We are not on application level yet, right?
Correct.
Okay. So, but you can say there are people actually working with your applications in your Apex instance. This is what you can say right now. And there are bugs and what else we did at the third column is page views.
Page views.
See, and what is this? Application
sessions. How many times did they log in?
Okay, fine.
Page views, and this is metrics, like how well are applications behaving. So if it is below 1 second, it's really speedy. Like here, it takes a little bit more time, it looks like, to run a few pages in those in this workspace. And then the last access.
Okay, fine.
So all today.
Get this widget. So let's go to the left side, key figures by day. These are KPIs or something.
Yes. Right. So this just gives you an idea, is this database slow or not?
So this is now a metric of all the workspaces, of all the applications. It is, right?
Yes.
You're on instance level. This is what you have in your tab above. You're on an instance level, and now you have a view about your instance performance, right? Instance metrics. And what is this number of 9 million % down mean?
Yeah, like here, like this, maybe at the instance level, it doesn't really mean much. Like Aleš, do you know by heart why it is here?
I think in this instance we have the scheduler to refresh the data really not on each day. So basically, it compares a couple of minutes of today to the whole period of yesterday. So that's why the metric is a little bit off. So you should have this the data refreshed regularly because we are refreshing this data in our local tables and materialist views to increase the performance instead of looking directly into the Apex views themselves.
So in English, this means so the data are stale or something, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, fine. I just want to ask if you want to, show some, there's a catastrophe coming for Apex and you want to join a WEF and saying, this is a catastrophe, right? These are the real numbers, 9 million % down. Okay, so I get that. This are KPIs. All right, and then we have down there we have the charts.
So performances by day, and like of course, if your instance has many applications or many workspaces, you will see that you will see like many different lines. Of course, like this is an Apex app, you can remove like all those lines. And then you get a better view of if you want to zoom in to something.
Okay.
But this is like just on a general note, you have an idea, okay, what is happening here? The whole idea of Ape is it can go from the top, like your instance, and you can drill down in a very easy way to the details. But since you wanted to go a bit more in detail already on the screen, so performances by day overall, and here you have latest activity in the instance.
Okay, scroll down. What else do we have here?
So there are 106 workspaces in this Apex instance.
Oh my God.
604 applications. And there are about 800 Apex users.
Okay.
And then you have here the database objects, just to have an idea what is going on in this database.
And if you say database, we talk about the instance. So you check all the assigned parsing schemes to all the applications in all workspaces.
Exactly.
Okay, see, I learned. What else do we have?
And then we find it useful to see like mail queues and mail logs, for example. This is what we also show here. If you have mails that are stuck or like where it got emails sent to.
So Oliver probably wants to have his own hashtag for Ape, maybe.
Yeah, he's probably downloaded Ape or something.
He always likes to have his own hashtags. Okay. This is kind of a dashboard, right? This is more management level to see technical project manager or project manager to see, okay, how is my instance doing?
Yes, and also like you can either take screenshots or you do this live when you talk to CTO, CEO, project managers, or developers, like if they are still there, because many times people create an Apex application and it was done by a consultant leaves, like who is taking it over, what's happening with this Apex application.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, sure. All right, so what is the next? So now you can drill down somewhere, but I would rather, okay, now you switch to the different tab, to workspace.
Yeah. So now when I go one level deeper, so from the instance, I will now say, okay, this workspace CR, okay, this seems interesting. There's only one application in this workspace. And now I get information of this application. Like, okay, how many bugs? Like,
yeah,
what are people using?
So the same metric. So why?
It's almost the same, yes.
Scroll back up. So what does it mean 98% up compared to what?
Compared to...
You can hover up on the percentage and it's...
So compared to by day, so yesterday, the application wasn't used much.
So yes, okay, yes, let's say it was a weekend, so this would be a Monday, then you would get, and how can I set up the reference point? Not just because if I have Monday, I have, of course, 100% increase from Sunday to Monday. Can I compare Mondays with Mondays or different time frames with each other?
Like here you can look at hourly, daily, weekly, but like Monday versus Monday, I don't think we really have that here. But you can look at it like performances by day. You can always, like when there is an error like this, you can click and you go into the real details. And this is an interactive report and you can do anything you want. But here we can switch to weekly and then we see, okay, this week versus previous week, how are things going?
Okay, now you can set here weekly. That weekly makes sense, I think. Weekly makes sense because we have the whole week, inclusive weekend.
Yeah, or you can look, like if you say, okay, I will look from Monday till Friday, and then you compare it to the previous week, Monday till Friday.
Okay, so
you can do that too.
What I asked for. See, this was my change request, and you already implemented it. Great job. Okay, get it.
Okay, so I'll do just the last 7 days.
Yeah. Okay. Good. So
Okay, so
what's the next
here,
step?
yeah, we have like similar things.
We don't have objects. I don't believe that. There's one
This
application,
is
not a database object. I don't believe that.
No, this is because I have this special role, and the database objects we show for like the parsing schema, at least in this version. It might change in the next version. If I would go into, for example, here in this one, you will see that there are actually database objects here because I am logged into that. Here I have ape installed in a specific workspace. So let me switch back here because we were just on I wanted to go on the overview, on the reviewing an Apex instance from a CEO, CTO level where I want to talk to.
I get it. So we are on workspace level now.
Yes, and so again, like I can see here, like so now I go one step deeper. So now I go into the application. So, and this is where it becomes way more interesting.
Can you go back one step? Can you go back one step? So I see, what does it mean, last activity in workspace, Apex user? What is an Apex user? Is this a developer? Are we talking about
your app user? So the person who logged in, if they log in with Active Directory, you will see that user. Okay. It's not an Apex developer, where Apex itself, like the monitoring tools of Apex themselves, is very focused on developer activity. Whereas here, we try to focus on the usage, like end user focus.
Remember, I think we talked about that last time. This is what our union laws in Europe won't like to see, that you can see when the user is logging in or logging out, or what he's doing, or tracking the user's work. So there should be a way to anonymize that information. Just saying, right? This could be.
I remember that from last time. Yes.
Could be a no-go for, okay, we are not allowed to install that because we can track users, and this is not a thing. It's a different story if it is hidden in database tables, right, inside the Apex repository, and you need it to be a DBA, right? A DBA can, know everything. It's a different level of security and whatnot. But if I have a general application showing to my CIO or, and then telling, oh, now he can track the people, this is not what they like to see. Just as a hint, there should be a functionality to say to mask the users, or I think you already have this thing anyway. You did this for me once.
Yes.
Okay. Now we are okay. Go one step. We go on application level.
Yes.
We have the same.
So now we can talk about, okay, this application is still being used and Nikki is using this application the most. So if we need more information about this application, we can go to Nikki, for example. And again, like here you see, okay, just from a performance point of view, how are things going on? And if there are errors, for example, we can see that.
Why do you have this dangerous messages in your widgets? Like, it's kind of, I don't know, where you say edit now, right? It really distracts. It's fine to have a very, low.
Oh, this you mean?
Yes. It's very hard for me to focus on the data or on charts if this intimidating error message shows up. This should be something much more subtle in the background. You look at it and say, well, you have to set it up or have to, synchronize something, just as a UX tip. And now the performance of all the pages, or what is?
Yeah, so here we go, like, again, like from a high level point of view, when we want to just, if we get the question, how is our Apex instance doing? We can answer this very easily by just looking at, okay, the instance is being used, there are multiple workspaces, there are multiple applications. People are still using it, those are the top users. The applications are running fine. We can see that, but there are some errors. We can see that quickly here. And we get an overview here, like which pages are having the most errors. So,
okay, now we're talking about error pages. So this is the widget above the upper right widget. Scroll up. This is a, oh no, you did, because
it's still the same. It's still the same, but only for this application. But
so
the difference is.
But if we have 100 pages or 200 pages, which is, you know, not a seldom thing.
So you can scroll down here.
Mm.
And you can also click here, and then you can see.
Ah, okay, now it's
like
sorted.
This.
Okay. All right.
But I didn't want to go into so much detail yet, actually, Jürgen.
But I want, you know, I want to understand the thing that people say, okay, that's interesting for me. That's interesting for me. Okay, so this is why I'm here, right? I want to understand what is the benefit for me. Now I'm in a position of a project manager, and I'm asking myself, is this something which is worth my time, my attention, my money? Should I install that? Does it bring any benefit for me or not? So, right, this is
I
why
see one of the things for Ape, the way I see it is it gives you a warm blanket for the manager, or even as a developer, it gives you a warm blanket because you have always a view into your Apex applications, or like just applications in general. I see it like that.
Yeah, sure.
As one of the first things, like we will, like there for me there are three different things, and Alesh will touch more on other things. But like the first thing is like this review of what you have. This is very easy to do. Let me, so I'll just scroll down here, and you will see, okay, this when people used a certain page. Sorry.
Sorry. I just checked my the chat.
Yeah, if there are questions, yeah, then people can ask, of course. So let me round it up.
Workspace level. Now we're on application level. We get all the metrics on a dashboard, performance, errors, whatnot, users using it, and okay, I get that. Back to you.
Okay, so to finish this story, we can go into the other tabs later. But if like the manager asks, like, okay, or the project manager, like, how is this application being used? Like, what are they actually doing? You can look at that too in a very convenient way. So here we call this a session flow. So this gives you an idea what are people doing in this application. So this is overall all the people, what are they doing? If I would zoom in a little bit, like they are in home, then the number of the lines, this is how many people go to a certain other place. So they go to ruimtes, and so you can look at that, but it becomes more interesting when you say, okay, for example, Jan is in department renting of rooms. What is he doing with the application? So now I suddenly see, okay, he's logging in, he's in the home page, then he goes to like units. Oh, let me translate it like that. And then units available. And then he is using some kind of wizard to create a unit. If I compare this to, let's say, Nikki, is here. Like Nikki is using the application a bit different. So I can zoom in. So apparently Nikki is busy with more the contracts. So I can see home contracts. So, and now I can even replay the entire session. So I can say, okay, like, what is Nikki doing, your manager? Like, or how is the application being used by this kind of department? I can now replay and I can see what they are doing. So you can see the highlight. They're going from this page to that page. So you can, this is a more graphical way built on top of the Apex metadata, what people are doing in your application. But I really want to round it up, like from the CIO perspective, this is my talk to them. Like, okay, your Apex application is being used. You shouldn't get rid of it yet. And
this is also true. This message is always true. You shouldn't get rid of Apex, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if it is used or not. Don't get rid of it. You're gonna regret it. That's a different story. But now we are on a different level now. Now we can actually deep analyze how is your application used by different users. That's very interesting. And with the replay session, right, that you understand. This is what that's a nice way also for the, let's say, the business people who need to educate their users, and maybe they see, oh, why is nobody using this shortcut, or why is nobody using this way to achieve this task? Why they are navigating through 3 different pages all the time, right? Don't they know that there is this quick link, or a favorite functionality where you can store all your favorite pages or something like that? So this is an interesting thing for the people who train the users to see how they are working right now, and to see, oh, they didn't get it, right? They still work the old way.
We also use it a lot during testing, because we can, so here below, I didn't really show that. So whenever you go and replay the session, you get here the more details. So you can even see if an error occurs, how was this error done? Like, they went from this page to that page to this page, and then there's an error suddenly. Then we can see that here. There will be the error message popping up. So I didn't want to go into the where you can use Ape for, like for testing, for development. I want like Aleš talking about that, but I quickly wanted to show that as well. So for me, one use case for Ape is that it gives you an overview of your instance. You don't need to be afraid of knowing what is happening with Apex. It's also documentation is built in, like it gives you your documentation. Even if there's no documentation of Apex, of course you can go in the builder and then look at it, because there's an Apex framework, but Ape can give you this documentation too. It shows you the pages, it shows you how complex pages are. We didn't go into that yet, but it should give your management and a good feeling that you have everything under control and that you know what's going on.
Okay. So what is the next level?
Okay, let me, I'll stop share. So I maybe should have started with, okay, for me, there are like 3 levels for Ape, what it is doing. And then, so I explained the first level in quite a bit of detail. For me, the second level, why you want to use Ape, it's a tool that really helps you during development. And this is like Aleš is our main person now for Ape, and he's really important in the project. He has very good insight and very good view, and he focused a lot on the quality assurance piece in Ape. So for me, the second piece is during development, Ape can really help, and we have a few tools which Aleš will show around quality assurance, generating document easy to do translations. Like Aleš will show like more the quality assurance, but Aleš just know you wanted a proper introduction. So Aleš just know the main guy for Ape. He's the lead for Ape going forward. So this is for me the second piece, and then the third piece where I really see Ape flying, and it's monitoring the applications. We wanted to monitor our own applications we are hosting, or even our portals. And whenever there's an error, we really want to know upfront, so we can call people who have an error instead of that they call us. So it was a necessary thing for us. So for me, there were those three pieces, like be able to talk to management and get an overview, a tool that helps during development. And third part is like more a monitoring piece, as you described it initially when you introduced Ape, the monitoring of the hosted applications.
Okay.
But now I want to give the word to Aleš to talk a bit more about quality assurance.
Welcome, Aleš. And
thank you for this great introduction. So let me share my screen. So yeah, as Dimitri already told, I work a lot on the QA module that we have also in Ape. So what is basically the QA module? It's how to make sure that your Apex applications are aligned with your standards in your organization or your clients' or compliance policies. So
wait a minute, Aleš. Now I lost the navigation. Can you start where Dimitri started?
Yeah, sure.
Find ourselves where we are. So this is what we learned. Okay.
Yeah.
Then we went to workspace and application level, and now you're on workspace level. And what are you going to do next to get to your other component?
So the QA module is basically really a sub-module for Ape, and it's not linked directly to only one workspace or one application, because I want to be able to monitor them all maybe at once. So it's really a separate model. That's why I clicked here in the main navigation menu to get to it. So I don't need to choose a workspace or anything for that. Okay. Great thing about Apex is that all your application definitions, all your data about your applications is in the database. So your application names, your page titles, your SQL sources, your column alignments, everything is there. You can basically get to it by writing an SQL statement, right? There are some publicly exposed views prepared by the Apex team for us, so we can basically query all components in there. And why I'm saying it, because this is a beautiful opportunity that we use them to make sure that the stuff that we built is really built as it should be. Is it consistent? For example, is it secure? Is it based on our best practices?
Well, secure is a huge word, right?
Of course. It's
an extra application for that. Probably, and well, the other things I agree, but secure is a hard question to answer.
Of course, Ape doesn't solve that your applications will be secure, but it helps you identify if you didn't follow the best practices to comply to those, let's say, some minimal security standards. So let me give you a really basic example. Broken access is one of the issues if we talk about security, which means that maybe we didn't protect our pages with authorization schemes, which is the out-of-the-box native Apex functionality to prevent that a user gets to some page or does something that he's not allowed to, right? Okay, so a simple rule could be all our pages need to have at least one authorization. It needs to have an authorization scheme defined. So how can I check that? Of course, I can go to my SQL developer and write an SQL statement. But as you said, maybe I'm a citizen developer. I don't necessarily know all the Apex dictionary view and how to get to them. Neither I did before I started to work with Ape. So Ape really helps you to prepare with a wizard style rules so that you browse to this Apex dictionary to help you build those rules.
Okay, show it.
And then, yeah, I will show. So we have a rule repository. All of our rules grouped in some categories, grouped by component types, and so on and so on. And you already with Ape, you get some preloaded ones, which can help you so to get an inspiration and understand what the rules basically are, how to prepare them. But I mentioned already, we have also the rule builder, which helps you guide it. So if you're an experienced Apex developer, you can prepare the SQL statement with which you will check, for example, if some pages don't have authorization scheme.
Alice, I didn't. Can you close the modal again?
Yeah, sure.
So what I see here is rules you created so far.
Yes.
And whatever this is, we don't know yet. And then you have different categories. It's best practice or security or whatnot.
Yep.
And then you kind of have already a check mark if the rules are applied to what.
So this check marks just marks if my SQL statement for this rule. So each rule has an SQL statement behind it.
Okay, it's just okay. The SQL statement is valid. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just syntactically is correct if you know.
We
I didn't make a
mistake. On this page, we are not applying any rules.
No. The magic happens afterwards.
Okay, so it's just.
So, but the flow is basically as you see it in the tabs, or if I navigate again back to the home of the module, building my rules, grouping them in my quality standards or my client quality standards, and then running the quality assessment.
Okay.
So these are the first 3 steps, or the 3 steps.
All right.
So and the way you can look at this too, Jürgen, is you have the Apex Advisor, which has certain rules.
Yes. Yeah.
Ape comes with United Code standards or rules as well. And just like the Apex Advisor, we loaded those in too. So for example, like every application should have an alias. It's one of the best practice rules. There are also...
Every application should have what? Say it again.
Yeah, like Aleš can highlight that, like application should have an application alias is one of our rules, a best practice. But like below and in front of it, it has the security rules as well. Just like the advisor, the issue with advisors, you cannot add your own rules.
Yes.
So here, what we did is we allow you to add your own rules. We ship the rules that we think are important. Okay. But you can add your own, you can export, you can import. So this is basically the rule repository. It's all the checks that you ever want to do. Okay, sorry, Aleš, to interrupt you.
No, thank you.
This is the whole point, right? We need to figure it out together.
Yeah.
Different views and knowledge, and we need to figure it out for our customers. Okay.
And also one great thing that I would add to that sentence that Dimitri said, you can also share them. So, we can also share those rules between each other. Maybe as, I prepare the quality standards based on, I don't know, let's leave security out of it. Maybe best UX practices, right?
Yeah.
Buttons. You prepare, maybe I can prepare it, or you prepare it, you can send it to me. I can use it then in my applications. Update the rules. Yeah.
We both use Ape.
Yeah, exactly, of course.
Okay, let's create a new role just quickly see how this is working.
So, as I said, one way is of course writing the SQL statement and then create the rule itself, but I will show you the wizard, the rule builder kind of way to create it. So because maybe the user doesn't know the dictionary views, out of his head. So this is how we help him. So which is the declarative options. And now, of course, we need to know for which component, Apex components, we will write the rule. So, for example, I said before, the pages need to be protected by authorization groups, right? Schemes.
So yeah, where does the rule apply to? To a page, to a region?
Exactly. Yeah.
Just choose one.
So the dictionary view is called Apex application pages, and we show all the properties that are behind this view here. So, and also the comments. So we use here a really useful view itself. It's called apex_dictionary. So you can see basically all the properties of pages, of the page component, right? And I can now also search through it, through the comments, through the names, and quickly find, okay, I knew I wanted to check that the authorization scheme is defined, so I'm searching for this, and it helps me find it. If I'm still not certain what is this property, because the property can be called a little bit different than really in the Apex builder, I can also choose one of my apps, and it will show me the 5 most occurrent frequent values that are set up in my application. And by this, it will help me additionally, oh, yeah, that's the property I want to check. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so basically you are saying, now you're looking at this Apex repository views,
yeah,
pages, where you get everything that is stored about a page. And then you have 100 columns at least, or 150 columns. And then it's very hard to find out, well, what column do I actually want to check, right? And then you select a page where you say, okay, let's see which values I have set in a specific page in the application builder itself, which reflects then back to the view with actual values, so that you see, okay, this is what I'm always going to do. I always have, this setting this administration rights or contribution rights or whatnot, right? And then you say, oh yeah, this is what I probably want now too.
Yeah.
Out of the 150 columns. Okay, I get
exactly. And now I choose it because, okay, I want to include it in my logic that I want to use to write my rule, right? So, and here it helps me declaratively to build the condition, right? So, okay, I could either choose here really from the values that are behind it, but this is not what I want to do, because I don't want to write a rule that specifically has that all pages have a certain value, but I just want to define that the pages don't have the null value for authorization scheme, which means there's no authorization defined for a certain page.
It means there's no public page that can be outside without. And
that's true. And that is exactly what I want to. Of course, I want to exclude public pages, right? So I will add another condition. And conveniently, it's the second one that showed up here. Page requires authentication, and this specifies when the page has been defined as public or not, right? And I will only show the ones that have yes. And this is really convenient because I don't know exactly which are the, I see the display values in the Apex builder, but I don't know the return values, basically what are behind. And Ape helps you here to really specify the correct ones. So I'm writing now, show me all pages that they require authentication, but at the same time, there's no authorization scheme defined. And by clicking next, Ape writes the SQL statement for this rule for me.
Get it?
Okay.
Yes.
Of course, I can now make some differences. For example, of course, I don't want to have the page 0 or something, or the logging page, and I can make some adaptation here. I can also write something dynamically here in the additional comment, but we will come to that later so that we'll explain you how this helps me. Basically, if I'm happy, I can leave the rule SQL statement as it is. And then I apply some metadata to my rule. So I name it,
Yes.
I categorize it, write some justification. So why is this important for me? So for example, in this case, I want to prevent broken access issues, right? And how to fix it? Okay, go to page properties, create or share components, first create authorization scheme, and then apply it to your page. And of course, I think I can also define the minimum from which Apex version on this rule is relevant. Because, for example, I'm making a rule that's for a component, for example, for faces to search the pages that only make sense for faces to search pages. I can then say, okay, apply this rule only for certain Apex versions on.
Okay.
This makes sense if you run your rules on different, environments, maybe your consulting company and.
Understood.
Yeah. Okay. And that's your rule. So and then you can of course search for it. But the next thing, when you are done with your rule, you want to include it in a quality standard. A quality standard is basically just a grouping of your rules and the definition of how severe for you is if that rule is broken.
Okay.
So low, medium, high.
Yeah. Get that.
And why would you have multiple? You could have only one quality standard, but you can have multiple because maybe you have one standard for, I don't know, your organization as an IT consulting company, and you have one standard for your client, which has some UX standards that they want you to follow. So you have
classification or maybe security classifications of applications.
Yeah.
Total sense. Okay, what is the next?
And the quality standard basically is then the entity that you can also transfer between environments, export, so you can run it on client. Okay, I'm ready now. Let's run the assessment. So first thing you have to do is to define the scope. So what will I check? Do I want to check an app, or I want to go wider or more specifically? So we have 4 levels. So workspace, application, page group, or page. So I can do, I want to go really wide. I will check basically 2 workspaces, my starter and my sample applications. And so all applications in those 2 workspaces will be now checked. Or I want to go specifically and check just one page of one application. That's up to me. And now my scope is defined. Now I will select which standards I will use. So I will use this one. And now basically the assessment can start. Here is just an overview what I selected, if I have some invalid rules or something. And when I run, the assessment is being run. So in the meanwhile, you can do the assessments manually, or you can schedule them so that they run with a scheduler job, for example, overnight for your application. Then you can really track, if the numbers are going up or down, or integrate it somehow in your CI, continuous development, continuous deployment processes that you can run it as an API and check the results. So yeah, now we get results. A ton of issues, 2,700. Okay, how to navigate through this vast sea of issues? There are 2 ways. So two ways to browse the issues. One is by rules. So I have my quality standard, and then the rule groups, and then the specific rules. And if I click on something, okay, from all of the applications that were checked, only those 2 page items are not named based on my rules.
Okay.
Or either I can go to search through the issues by component. So I have here my two workspaces, and I can expand to see my applications. Go even down to page groups or shared components, and then to pages and even regions if there are. So some issues can be linked really to some regions. And I can really know. So for example, if I want to see all the issues for this page, I can click on this page and I can get the results from this page.
Mm-hmm.
And you see this additional comment here. So this is this place. Do you remember when I prepared the SQL statement?
Yeah.
And there was a field. So this is displayed then when the SQL statement is being parsed and the results are getting in. This is also then, this information is then displayed for here. Here. So what I can do now with the results? So okay, I can check the details about it. There are some more informations about the rules, and also about the component itself. But two main follow-up actions. One is I can go fix it. So if I click the fix button, I'm immediately navigated to that component in the page builder. So it's basically a shortcut for me to resolve the issue.
Mm-hmm.
So apparently this was a page item. Or I can add it to exception list. I can say, no, for this page item, this makes sense. I want to make an add it to exception. I need to write some reason why to justify why did I run the exception accept. And the next time I will run, it will not take this issue into the total amount of results. So
makes sense, yeah.
A lot of features that I didn't mention, but I don't want to take too much of time because it's really complex metal. But this is the, sorry?
We get the idea. We totally get, yeah.
So it's really flexible. But you can do really a lot of that to really make sure that your, so the applications are really built the way they want to do. And that's the one great thing about Apex. You can really do that easily, right? In other frameworks, it wouldn't be so easy to do. And Ape offers also checks for the database objects and so on, but more about it another time. We go into the details. I want to talk today, if we have still a couple of minutes, also about the latest module that was added to Ape. It's called the Ape Watchtower. So what it is? So Dimitri showed you a lot of KPIs and metrics, how which you can browse through them to find how your applications are going on, how the users are using them, if there are any errors. The Watchtower is if you want to be one step ahead. So here you define when does Ape need to say, hey, Jürgen, there's something wrong with your app. There's something going on that is not ordinary compared to the previous month. And Ape then sends you an email, pointing you in the right direction, so that you can resolve the issue before everything goes to hell. So how to do that? So here, similar with QA, you define SQL statements that check your Apex applications, your database, for example, number of errors per application, or let's say the time that it takes for some Apex request to run. And I will use this one as it's a good example.
Yeah. Are you coming with a set of rules here too?
Yes, we have some default ones, but here we don't have a wizard that helps you, because the assumption here is that you know your database, you know your applications here. You are you have some experience with monitoring them. So you will write some queries. So this one is on the Apex workspace activity log, where we have all the Apex requests stored in. And I'm basically here just checking, show me all that are longer than 1 second, and just show me that it occurred at least 10 times so that I don't see some edge cases. But in the end, this query returns basically all requests. Okay, and in the statement, I have a value field. In this case, I'm checking how long it took to this Apex request to be processed, to the time it needs to be processed. So rendering, processing, dynamic actions, anything. And now I can, on a scale from normal to urgent, I can define what this means to me. So all requests that are running below 1 second, that's all fine with me. If there are some that are run between 1 second and 2 seconds, I already want to signal some kind of information. And then for each level, I can also, for example, if it's high, if the time to process this is more than 5 seconds, which is really not what we want for our Apex applications, we can define now the escalation channel. So, okay, if some Apex request takes longer than, on average, longer than 5 seconds, please store this in my ape inbox or send me an Apex mail. Or if you have your internal way of communicating, maybe an SMS service or something like that, you could easily configure that also in Ape. So it would send you an SMS or some internal notification.
Cool.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes total sense.
Okay, so again, here, the possibilities are really wide. Whatever your database can reach, you can monitor here. So you can monitor your Apex applications, you can monitor your scheduler jobs, you can monitor some REST services, ping them if they're working, if they're up, if they're slow. You can even monitor your functional processes. So for example, that in a process after event A occurs, an event B should occur also. If that is not the case, please alert me.
All kind of business logic. You can
So yeah, whatever is accessible by the database.
Yeah,
we have a customer where Watchtower is really a critical piece because they are doing auctions, and whenever an auction is not going through or a person has an issue there, it's really critical, especially when an auction closes. So this is where like the Watchtower is not really looking at the metadata of the Apex applications or the database, is really looking at the business logic of this application.
This is what I said, right? You can create all kind of business logic scans or sensors where you say, oh, this shouldn't happen, but it happened. It happened once. So we want to make sure that it never happens again. And if it does, please inform us immediately before everything goes down.
Exactly.
Okay, I get that. What is the next? Once I have to.
So each sensor is then assigned to a scanner, which is basically a database job in behind, which you can also configure. So, some of things you want to scan daily, some of them you want to scan hourly, or even frequently based on your needs, right? And you can then browse through those scans. So this is each scan. So you can have multiple scanners. You can have a daily and an hourly, and you see the history, when they run, how long did they run, and then go to details. Okay, see all of the scans return something, some dangers or something that's not okay. And I can then see all sensors that are attached to this scan schedule, ranked by the urgency they returned. Remember the scale that I had? So if some of the sensors return, the measurement goes into the high danger area, it's on top, and then of course below. So all of these scanners are okay. These are even great success. Here is a warning, and this is okay. I have some invalid database objects, which of course I don't want to have in my production environment. Okay, I can also here check which are the oh, there's a package called invalid package. It's my test package, but based on the SQL statement, I can even drill down below. So for in this case, I show the invalid objects. In other case, so this is one new kind of error. So this one checks Apex error logs. And if today there's an error on a page that never occurred in the previous month, it's strange, right? So I want to check all these errors. So on page 4000, okay, I didn't use this application. There's a session, invalid session error, and one error is password expired for me. But yeah, this shows because this error didn't happen in the previous month. So this is, a really useful scanner when you have a production upgrade and you see some new kind of errors flying. Watchtower spots them.
Okay, get it.
And then even I think I don't see it here below, but if this would be then communicated by me to me, or how I configure it by email or inbox, I would also see here a drill down how this was escalated.
So if an email would have been sent, there would be an icon.
Yeah, and I would even drill down. Then I would see, okay, an email was sent and maybe another SMS also. And I will also see the parameters. Okay, Aleš got an email, Jürgen got an SMS on that and that date. Was sent out, of course. And then there's a basic dashboard, which I can configure. So here are my traffic lights. So I can choose the sensors that I want to show up here, and they return the latest scanned value back. So
don't make anything moving.
Okay. It's configurable in the settings, so yeah.
Good. You don't want to.
But I appreciate the
focus on anything else now. You always, it's like.
And how about we have the urgent ones blinking? Is that okay?
Yeah, but if it's urgent, it shouldn't be green, right? You should.
It's red blinking. The fire is blinking red.
It should be a different color then, but nothing. If something is moving, that's weird.
Okay. Yeah, but okay. It's even configurable, but the idea is here I can set up traffic lights. I can add other sensors, define the sequence in how I want to display them. Here I have some slots, 6 slots for some sensors that I want to track. I want to see the measurements on a time scale. So for example, here I have the sensor long-running scheduler jobs, and I see that this job is how it was performing, and I see even the average time increased, decreased in this case. So some sensors make sense to check them in a time scale, some not. If you have some sensor that you're checking invalid objects, that doesn't make sense to include him here, right?
So you have these slots, this region slots, and then you can simply add a sensor.
Yeah.
You can do this once. How is this happening?
You can then switch it if you want to choose another one, and you can define how long the time interval that you want to see the data.
Okay, you just select. But if you have this add sensor in this empty region,
yeah,
can you see that? What's happening here?
It's the same form that you need to select the sensor, define how many days I want to see, and now also here I have. It's empty, but yeah, you get the point.
This line chart then.
Yeah, it's a line chart here. Yeah, for each of the return and the series are the if the SQL statement returns multiple rows. For example, if I have long scheduler jobs, a row is a scheduler job, right? A series is then one scheduler job. If it's Apex request, so each line would be an Apex request. So you need to be also careful to make some. I mean careful. Some things, of course, make sense. Some don't, right?
You can mess it up because you have the total freedom to define everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
This one is one of my favorites. It's basically a matrix by sensor and by day. And for each day, even if the scan ran, I don't know, 16 times per day, here I will show the highest, the worst result, basically. So you can see history. Okay, I see today no scheduled jobs failed, but yesterday one job failed. And I can then basically drill down into the details.
This should go up. This region should go up. It should be the first region, because this is very well structured, and you have a good feeling when you see that, and you have a feeling that you can control everything, right? Then this is why this region should be on the first level, or after this jumping thumbs, but after that this region should come next before you have all this line charts. It shouldn't be on the because this is what you get immediately. Right. Oh, there are my sensors, and then different days, and there are different values. Perfect, like it. Okay. All right. Anything crucial still you want to show on this part?
Just so that you then also have a history. So, for example, you see there was a couple of days back there was an Apex request that was running really long, and you can really see the measurements for one request or something. So, for example, I choose one of the requests, and now I can see per day or per measurement basically what the results were. So it's really, the options here are really, it's simple on one side, but the options are really vast. So yeah. That's that.
Again, that you go down to the raw data and see every measurement. And then it adds up to an average and saying, is it critical or not?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, great. Interesting, and it's really impressive.
Thank you.
It's a huge thing. This is a different animal now, Dimitri. What we saw, I don't know, when we did our first ape thing.
Yeah, like initially it was just giving you an overview, and it was a lot based on like the Apex metadata, just in a different way and an easier way. And now there's much more functionality and intelligence, I would even describe it, in it. And we also really ship ways of working. We really want the community to go behind this, to share the standards that they have, come up maybe with community standards. But really, like, we eat our own dog food. And I hope that you see like the three pieces. Like from me as a CEO, it's important that I see what is happening with all the Apex applications. For the developers, they use this tool. Like Aleš didn't really show like how we are using it. If, for example, the database object needs to be touched, do you know which pages are using this database object? Like Ape gives you this answer in 1 second. Maybe Aleš can show that. But so it's really like the second piece. Our own quality, whenever we build application, went way up by using Ape. And the third piece is like this monitoring with the watchtower, or like with the performance graphs. And it really helps us just to sleep at night, and then in an easier way.
So this means you didn't get a good night's sleep before Ape. You should always sleep good at night, right? You should, when you close the laptop, this is it, right? This is not real, Dimitri. This is just the matrix. Right? If you close the laptop, everything is fine. Right? Nothing is really happening. You can always have it.
Yeah, of course, like is something urgent or not. But yeah, here is page flow. So you get a graphical overview of how your...
Wait a minute. Now we are back on the original. Now we saw the two modules, like the quality assurance module and
Watchtower.
Watchtower.
Watchtower. Isn't this the people standing on the edge of the streets and having this, Jehovah's Witnesses? Is this any affiliations with these people? I don't know. I'm totally open. I hope you don't get in trouble with them. And they visit you every day. We have the real Watchtower. Here you go. This is what you should take care of. All right. So my impression so far, it's impressive. Everything I've seen so far, the UI is, wow, a lot of room for improvement. That's the best way I can say it, right? It's very, confusing, and it's not integrated, and the navigation is very confusing, and the using of the colors and everything. But this is my thing, UX, and so you could improve the whole thing by a lot, making it more serious and more simple to use without even coding anything in the backend. Just make it nice and easy for the end user. But I see the business value of all the components. But this is the most, the most critic I have right now is it's confusing, right? I don't see everything. I don't see this kind of, I'm in Ape, and then I have the dashboard and pages, and then I have a different navigation, and I have a different navigation, and suddenly I'm in a different module. It's like the Inception, different dream levels, right? You not really know where you are, and there should be this root. This is Ape, and Ape consists like the application builder, right? There is workspace, workshop, SQL workshop, and application builder, and export, import, and like that, right? I'm missing this hierarchical navigation thing. So it is hard to, you need to actually know what's there and really need to look for it. Otherwise you wouldn't find it and you wouldn't get it. So that's but this is just, small things on the UX side. But other than that, so far it's great. Okay, now we are back on Ape, and can you go back to the dashboard? And
of course.
Did I understand?
So I will go from the beginning, right?
Yes. Right?
So I have here my applications. Okay, no, I'm using a demo, so there's no traffic currently.
And actually, can you go back, Alash? We use the app builder as inspiration too. Like you have this slider on the right, and those are the different modules, Jürgen. So you have projects, applications, quality assurance, Watchtower. Like you have app builder, SQL workshop, utilities. This is what we try to do with those tiles.
But you have different. Don't let me start. You're not navigating on 4 or 5 different levels on the right side, and then you have this tab, and then you suddenly have the breadcrumb menu, and you have so many different ways to navigate, and this is the most important thing. You have one navigation. You may have an alternative navigation, like the most important task, like with a cards view, right? So, but you should have this kind of structure that is understood immediately, and this is not visible right now. It's all very flashy and confusing, but not worse than any other application on the planet, right? Just to give you a perspective, right? It's not.
No, okay, we can improve.
But I haven't seen a great application ever. from the start, I mean, from the start, right? You have people that, but you are developers and you build great functionality. And then you just use the components that Apex gives you you can create a little thing over there and then you can switch to quality assurance. Yeah, why not do that? I can tell you 100 reasons why not to do that, right? But you don't know that. I don't know this business things or the technical details. I don't know that. You know this, right? So I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying this will help a lot to make a professional looking application out of it, right? A professional, because it is, from the content wise, it's amazing. But from the UI perspective, it's very confusing and intimidating for somebody who wants to use it for the first time or yeah, anyway, but don't let me distract you by UX stuff. Okay, go ahead, Alex. Now we are back. We are now where we started from workspace level. Now you go to application, or
yeah, I will click on one application.
okay, so now I suddenly have a different navigation.
Yeah, exactly. Because the
right, you're not clicking on something and you lose your navigation, you lose your point where you came from. It's like you're getting out of a door and the door is vanishing. This is Matrix style, right? This is not what should happen in real life. You should, when you get out of a door, and you turn around, the door is still there. I can go back. Yeah, you can go back. Right?
You are in the alternative dimension, Jürgen.
Yeah,
we have 3 dimensions.
Yeah.
No. But yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, okay. But fine. Okay. Right. Go ahead.
So a lot of the features are why the navigation changed, because we are now on the application level, and what a lot of the features that we have in Ape are specific to one application. So the navigation menu in this point changes. So first I have a dashboard, which is pretty boring here because I don't have any traffic. But I have multiple other features that focus more on not how the applications are used, but how they're built. So here I have a tree view of my pages, and I can get some interesting information that it's hard to get from the Apex builder itself. So for example, we have the page link, we parse the metadata to figure out how to get to this page and where you can get from this page on forward, right? Which can be pretty helpful if you don't know the application really well, so you really see what the navigation options are.
Okay, so
especially
now, yeah, go ahead, Tim.
Especially like a modal dialog, I have always issues like, how can I run this modal dialog? Where is it being called from? And this will show you.
Okay.
And the other part that is also hard to recognize from the builder itself is the object dependency, we call it. It's basically which database objects are referenced on this page. So which tables, packages, and other objects. So I can also then see from the other way around, this table, on which pages is it used? So if I will change this table or view or package, I will add a new other column or something or remove it. Which pages do I need to now check and update? Because of course the logic behind is not valid anymore, right?
Yeah. Makes sense. Make total sense.
Yeah.
So and now here you see the page 85.
Yep.
Is navigated from 135.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It navigates to 108 and 80.
Yeah.
But there's a much nicer view actually as well, if you want to see how things are going.
Page information, help. Okay, so you get all the metadata of the page, and okay, I get that. So you get all information you want to have from this page, including the object dependencies of the database use, and okay, get that.
So there are some information that you don't have out of the box from your Apex builder, right?
Yes.
But you can with Ape. By having it, yeah, no, you don't know what I mean. You can be in the builder and use Ape at the same time. We have an browser extension. So if I will try to, let's say this is one of my screens and this is my other screen. So if I will now go to the Apex page builder, Ape will refresh too.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And if I'm on another page, it will again refresh. So, and we also have the quality assurance here if it's linked. So the QA would also run when I'm browsing through the pages, so I can see the data immediately. So it's really an extension of the page designer.
But this is only a thing if you're not working in a real company, which they don't allow you to install any extensions in your browser, right?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
It's similar as you already said also with the private data. If it's displayed, if it's not allowed, yeah, of course, then you're limited. But
okay, but
but in some cases, this can be a productivity increase then for the developers themselves, right?
So if you can work at home with your own environment or own browser, great option to see it live, right? In a different screen.
Yeah.
Love it.
So Ape also offers you, so I can see the page help here, also formatted in HTML, and I could edit it directly here from Ape.
Oh, okay.
To somehow improve my. So it should just. Okay. So to update my metadata of this Apex application, I can also go to, for example, to my tables. This will take a little bit now, and update the table comments and the column comments on my database tables as well from Ape. So Ape could be really, a tool so to improve your documentation of your code. So I can really have here.
Really want. So when you say the application can actually change the objects of the database.
Yeah.
Of
course, that doesn't make sense on the production environment, right? In most often cases, that's why we also limit what a user in Ape can do with different roles, right? So also security wise.
So now we are on. Wait a minute. Now where are we now?
I clicked on a table which was displayed as a reference table on my page. So maybe I don't know the table. I want to check the details. I see all the columns. I can edit the comments. I can see also a basic ER model here. So I see how the relations of this table. I can see where in which pages it is used. In which database objects it's dependent, so it's into reference into triggers in one package, and I can even see some sample data of the table here. So it's it's really from this use case perspective that I'm new to these applications and I want to browse through it and understand it better.
Get it.
So there's I will skip this. This is, I already mentioned this. It's where I can schedule cool quality assurance assessments for this application that are being run, and then I can check a chart for each day what the results are. I can even have Ape inject Apex components in the target application.
You lost me.
Yeah, sorry.
I mean,
so currently I'm checking application 116 opportunities, the sample starter application from Apex, from the Apex gallery, right? I showed you before that I can run quality assessments manually, right? I can schedule them for this application. I just need to enable it, select one of my standards or more, and it will now basically scan overnight for this application only. And there's another way of assuring running QA directly inside in your apps. It's a bit maybe invasive way, but highly required by some of our customers. So what it does, it basically creates Apex component in your application on page 0. And when you run the application, not the Apex builder, the application itself, on top, there will be a region injected that displays if the page has some errors, forcing the developers really to fix them immediately when testing their pages.
Are you saying that you are injecting a region on page 0 in my business application?
Yes, but this is of course option. I mean, it's an option that was required by some of our clients. So we offer them.
Yeah, I get that, but this is not going to happen because once you install a new region on page 0, it shows up somewhere in the application. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's not on the top. It depends.
And it's yeah, of course. And this is of course only for development, and we protect those components with the build options. So when you export the application and move it to test, those regions will have disabled build options.
Yeah, I get the idea.
So yeah, it's a specific case, which does make a lot of sense for some of our clients. Of course, for some other ones, the reaction is similar to yours. No, don't touch my app, please. No.
Yeah, don't touch my app, or it's a punishment from your project manager if you say, okay, you haven't performed this week very well. So now I'm injecting you an error message on every page.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
To remind you that there are still tasks to be. Yeah. Okay, nice.
Okay. So I don't know how much time is, how should I speed up or?
Yeah, speed up.
Yeah. So okay, maybe I won't lose time. We have a page to check the database objects. How are they linked with each other? As an alternative for the tools that are already out there. So.
But the unique thing here is that you can actually double click on a table, and then you see which pages are using this table, or which components, Apex components, are using this table. So maybe you should.
I will just use the ABA cast prefix so that I will filter only some tables. So that. Yeah, still a lot. Not the best test case, but yeah, when I click once on a table, I can immediately see the relations. So to which tables it has some foreign key constraints. And like Dimitri said, if I double click on the table, I will then get the view that I showed you already before. So
that's very helpful.
Information from this table, and can also see if the table is used in some application pages. Page flow is a visual representation of what I also showed you before. So how the pages, how you get from one page to another, how is with the page links. So for example, I can get from page 1. I see all the relations here, but we'll need to zoom in a little bit. So when clicking the button expand statistics, I can get from page 1 to.
Different from what we have seen before, where you have the actual navigation of a user, and now you see what is technically possible.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which page is connected to what page?
Yeah.
And again, you can double click on the page and get more information.
Okay. All right.
So Dimitri already showed you the session flow. So this is how the pages are really used. then we have the option to export documentation. So some of our customers have a specific requirement so that they prepare technical documentations for their managers or whatsoever. So you can really, if you have Apex Office Print, also configure it, use Apex Office Print and print out, create your template for the technical documentation.
Come from?
Sorry?
Where does the documentation come from? Which documentation?
You can see it in the left side. So it's documentation about your application pages, your database objects. So it's the data that we already talked about, which database objects are referenced on pages and vice versa.
How do you document an Apex page?
You
use the help of the page.
Yeah.
The help. Exactly.
We use the page help. We have some general documentation. We have some overview, how many components it has, and then we start listing them up, right? And it's also in the document itself in a similar way.
Okay, so you document the Apex pages. Oh, what is this?
The dynamic actions. It's a chart that shows if I have a dynamic action on page load. There's no condition. That's why we have no true and false direction, right? It's a decision graph. And then I see all the actions fired by this.
My goodness, this is you will have a long list with our application here, right? Because we love to use dynamic action.
Yeah. Okay, but what I like here in the application, it's fixed. It what we prepared for you. But I like it, if you use Apex Office Print, you can prepare your template, and define what you want to have in the template. Of course, we again ship our preloaded ones, so you can use them as the basis. Use your header, use your logo, throw out maybe some information that you don't want to have there, and print it out.
I don't have to print it out, right? It's totally fine. Yeah, at the end, people want to have a PDF, right? But it's totally fine to have this interactive document.
Of course, it's from case to case, but there are some cases that you need to deliver this as deliverable on your project, and really I have built your application, here's your documentation, and here's your invoice.
I guess you use the comment section for the documentation of the pages and all the data you can get out there, including dynamic action, which is awesome. But do you also, how do you get the documentation out of the PSQL objects, or packages?
Yeah, we have here a sample how you should comment your code in your PLSQL packages.
So you come up with your own
syntax. It's not our own. It's used. I forgot.
Javadoc notation. So this is what Martin built as well, like PLSQL MD-doc. We standardized on Javadoc, but we also enhanced it. So many people just use the -- to put a comment. We also read that out. Like we do more than just Javadoc. There's also natural doc, I believe, which we want to support. It's partially there. So yeah, you have different ways of doing comments.
Whenever there's I get this with the author version. Yeah, I get the Javadoc thing. And
so basically, you can also comment on your parameters and stuff like that. And let me show you how then this all. Oh, sorry.
Let me check if there are any questions. Maybe Dimitri, you have no job yet. You can always check if there are questions in the chat.
Yeah, I didn't see any question yet. So.
Okay. Because I'm explaining everything so awesome.
So, for example, here we have some package, and then we have different function in this package, and we can also see the descriptions of some parameters if we follow this common syntax that we showed earlier. So this Javadoc, right? also for our, so in some, sample calls, so you can copy paste and try the calls in your developer and so on.
Yeah, I get that. Interesting. Yeah.
And here are the tables.
And again, like if you have to do a review of an Apex application that you don't know, like installing Ape will really help to get a quick understanding.
I totally get that. Okay, documentation is the check. What else do we have?
Users. So basically, Ape offers you, if you just have a production environment, to show which are the active users on your Apex applications. Are also inactive, but for example, you have Ape in your production environment. Your clients use them, and they have an error. So you can basically see their session, what he's doing, and you can even remotely enable debug. This is already also possible with Apex Builder, but also with Ape. So I can enable debug remotely for his session, and then I could see the debug messages for him and try to support him by using the application. Yeah.
That's
interesting. This is really important, Jürgen, because many people in production don't have the application builder of Apex installed.
It's not true.
So
I've never talked to one.
Oh, we have a couple.
I know it's an option and it's always on the PowerPoint. Oh, you are installing production without the application builder, out of security, But I have never talked to one person in my life who ever did this, right? Because you always want to fix in production immediately if you have to, if there is, the thing hitting the I get that. Yeah, but yeah, it's great, right? This is because the only thing what I would love to have in there, Dimitri, can you read my mind?
I don't know.
It starts with an L.
Zoom link. Sorry?
No, it starts with an L, and it's abundant. From a guy we both know very well. When we talk about documentation and, you already mentioned his name recently.
Martin? Oh, yeah. Logger. You want to have Logger.
Yes.
Yes, a Logger view. Yeah, we have it somewhere in a feature enhancement.
Because we all use Logger at the end of the day, right?
Yes.
And I also use Logger as a kind of documentation tool. Sounds weird, but the problem is that, well, when I'm coding a procedure, I'm using Logger anyway. So for, logging, this is right, debugging and stuff. And then I thought to myself, well, I'm looking into the output, logging output then anyway, and then why am I not using, and when I write comments instead of writing -- comment, why am not say logger.info, for example, which I learned recently is a level deeper than actually log. Log is the highest level with 32 and info is 16, which is ridiculous. Info should be, 48. It should be above log, but don't start with Martin to talk about that. But that you can also, if you check your logging, you already see what is going on in this procedure, and if the procedure runs into an error, you already see this different steps he passed. And then you see, and if you are looking into the source code as a developer, you can read the logging output as comments, right? So this was my brilliant idea, just to use one. This said, and you can also have the functionality to turn on for a specific session, for a specific user, for a specific session. You can turn into debug mode, right? Because normally you have logger run into error mode on production. And we all have in our exception, if there's an exception, then I switch automatically into debug mode just for this one guy. And then because normally you try to recreate the whole thing, right? It's not working the first time. What do? You try it the second time. And then I already have debugging on and I have all the informations I need. And so this is a great feature, and we built it in our monitoring tool to turn on and off remotely for a specific user or for a whole app even, that we say, okay, app has a problem. So this would be a great addition, that if you integrate Logger into Ape.
Yeah.
All right. Great. Anything else? I see translate. I hope this is the last one.
It is. So translate is basically just a sub-module that helps you translate your Apex applications if they're multilingual. It can integrate with DeepL as a service, so you can translate your strings with that service, and helps you import and export XLA files a little bit more convenient way that Apex native out of the box. But I can explain that in more detail if somebody's really specifically interested in the translation process, because that's again another story. Just mentioning that it's out there.
Multiple languages in your application, so this is where you can translate it, and people who do this understand this XLIF process.
Yeah, exactly.
Import, and then you have shadow applications with different languages and all this. Yeah. This is it?
This is it.
Yeah, I think we went 1 hour over, but yeah, this is it.
Yes. I actually planned 1 hour. I thought, well, we would be through with 1 hour.
Sorry.
No.
We love to talk.
No, it's not about you talk too long, because I underestimated that you added so much stuff, right? So this is huge. That's a huge. It's like a enterprise manager from Oracle, right? This what you use for the database. So it's all the thing, the quality assurance watchtower and whatnot, and yeah, impressive.
Thank you.
Functionality, great job. We need to talk about UX. That's a different.
We would love to. We would appreciate any help.
Other than that, really impressive. So how is the license? Let's talk about money. This is what people are interested in at the end of the day.
Okay, so initially we had a yearly price.
Come on, we have Tuesday. It was a good Tuesday price, 23.
Yeah, so we shifted the pricing a little bit. We really want people to use it, and everybody use it. So we went with, since this year, with the model of AOP, that you pay basically a one-time fee. And you can install it in up to 4 databases like dev, QA, test, production. We believe that's enough. But if you're a really big enterprise, okay, you have unlimited databases. And that's it. Like if you want newer versions, we ask 20% from the second year onwards. So the same model as AOP. We hope, and we believe that this is a really, like, if I switch to euro, it's the same price. We see it as you will save much more time and money by using Ape than what the license would cost.
That's in a day.
In a day, yes.
Right? I'm serious. If you have 3 people working, a project manager asking questions and occupying 2 other developers to figure this out, right, the whole day, and they look it up and they don't find it, and it takes another day, and then they decide, oh yeah, this will come again next week, so let's make a little SQL statement or a little app, right, that we can answer this question next week. So every little thing will cost you more than the license.
And even just the documentation, nobody likes to write documentation. Maybe you don't even need to have documentation, but if you just take that piece, like you don't have to write the documentation, you develop the way like you should, and the documentation is there automatically. And you can say this from every module, like one error that you notice before the end user calls you is probably worth more than the ape license.
So I'm glad it's not a money issue, right? You can afford it, or you should afford it, or you should not afford it. You should use it if you.
This is what we really try. Like, if you know the investment that we have put into this product the last years, it is insane. Like, if you would need to do this yourself, it would cost you so much more. And it's only because we do it, and we try to make it as low entry as possible, and we also try to maintain it, because there's a lot of maintenance going on in this product as well, since it's so tightly related with Apex. And we want to improve as well. Like, for example, especially like with autonomous database, like if I have 1 minute left, like on the autonomous database, Apex gets upgraded automatically, or you can defer like 90 days. If you have Ape installed, and what we want to do is that you run your quality assurance or your upgrade assistant, or however you want to call it, it checks your application. If you have any issues whenever the new Apex version hits, this is where we want to go. It's not like it's partially there with the QA assistant, but it's just one extra thing that we believe we can give and help you with. There are other things on, like if you go to the website, we have roadmap, like we want to build artificial intelligence in it that with all the rules that it can like be way more intelligent of like, hey, your application is going slower. We see that based on the data that is going on. So we are investing still heavily in it. And we hope that people will see it, because it's not as much used yet as we hope it would be. And we are open for feedback as well.
Yeah, like I said, right, it's not, for whatever reason, it's not popular yet. This is why we also make this show on a regular basis, right, that people can, but it's all about, the thing I would say, why it's not popular, because it's the market, the marketing is not good, period. And the UX is not good. It looks complicated to use it, and it's, you could make a serious product out of it in a week. Give me Maxime, right? Or Shakib. You don't get Shakib anymore. He's gone, right? He's now a manager. He's not. I don't know if he still can code, even if he forgot CSS. But
I'm sure he can.
Yeah, probably yes, right? But so like I said, give me a guy like Maxime or Shakib or my guy Matthias, right? So in a week we make a serious application out of it that looks like it is a serious application, but content-wise it's amazing. I'm really impressed. Great job, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, it's like a lot of thanks to Aleš and the entire team, because there are more people than just Aleš working on this product.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah. Any question from YouTube? Do we have anything? Yeah, so we covered everything anyway, right? Okay, guys, thanks a lot.
Thank you, Jürgen, as well.
Thank you for having us.
So we gonna do this. There will be a new product out soon, I heard. So we will do another session soon with a new product from this guy. But you will, yeah, we will notify you early, and then I make sure that the planned link is actually working. And now I have an idea that why the link was not working right from the beginning, because I planned, you have to plan in YouTube the live stream, and then you get the URL, and the problem is if you just start a meeting immediately and go live to YouTube, it just created a new stream. You actually have to schedule in Zoom this very meeting with this specific URL.
Okay.
So
good for next time, for your next show.
Yes, next time. Okay, guys.
Thank you, Jürgen.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.